Manchester United 2, Burnley nil. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the match reaction show here on the Wavy Baller Hub. If this is your first time watching, make sure to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and follow the movement. You feel me? What a game to come back. It's been a while since we see Manchester United. World Cup happened. And we're right back into the thick of things. Played a makeshift lineup, but a relatively strong lineup, and got there in the end. I'm just noticing the uh what's it called is wrong. The title is wrong. I'll see if I can fix that here in a second. But guys, make sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, people. You feel me? This is a great game, exciting game to be to watch. Especially coming back from a World Cup. You feel me? It's great to get a win. It's great to get a win. In the first half, I thought we were composed, played well for most of the game, outside of maybe a few mistakes here and there. But we controlled this game, and that's the most impressive part about this whole thing. That's the most impressive part about this whole thing. I feel um, Burnley have been playing well. Scored a ton of goals previously. I've only lost 2 games all season so far. Haven't really had much of a break. We had a big break, missing a bunch of big players. Varane didn't play. Martinez didn't play. Shaw didn't start. Maguire, our captain, is out. Um, Anthony was rested. Sancho is having issues right now. I mean, a ton of our players didn't play, and we were comfortable, kept a clean sheet with a makeshift back line. I want to give a shout out to Aaron Wan-Bissaka, and we'll get to player ratings. He's hardly kicked the ball this year. I know he played in some of the tune-up games prior to a lot of the players coming back. But yeah, he had a good game. Showed well for himself. Got the big assist for the first goal. Beautiful ball by Bruno. It was probably overhit. It's funny because I think Wan-Bissaka is the only player who could have gotten to that ball. He's probably the only player that could have gotten to that ball. But hey, it is what it is. It is what it is, guys. Make sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. You feel me? Let me see if I can. The biggest. Oh, let me see if I can fix this. Whatever it's called, I'll try and repost it. But whatever. Anyway, we're back. We're back. Thoughts on the first half? Again, first goal. I thought Eriksson finished it well, but it was all about Bruno's ball and Wan-Bissaka's finish. Then we get into the second half, and now it was pretty much we pretty much ratcheted it up, right? Marcus Rashford was excellent in the second half specifically. I thought he played really well, was lively, was tracking back, played all 3 positions today in that front line, played on the right, then moved to the left, then moved to the middle. So yeah, no, it's a lot, very impressive performance. And this is a great way to get started. Great way to get started. We have a lot of games coming thick and fast. It's Christmas season. Hopefully some of the players can get their rhythm back. Get some fitness with training over the next couple of days. Our next game is on next Tuesday, the 27th, in the Premier League against Nottingham Forest. Big game because we are right in the middle of the hunt of the top 4 race. We're currently in 5th place with a game in hand on Spurs, but their goal differential is much better than ours. We're not that far off second place. We're only 6 points off second, right? Let that sit in. As crazy as the start of the season was with all the misses, we're only 6 points off second. We're through to the next round of the Carabao Cup. What round? I think we're headed to the quarterfinals now, right? That was the 4th round, headed to the quarterfinals. I don't know who we play next. That's going to be interesting to figure out. But yeah, no, there's a lot of positives to take away. Erik ten Hag has this team ready to play. They look prepared. Players were playing out of position, looked comfortable. Burnley, right? I don't think Burnley were awful. They were just up against much better talent. I think clearly Vincent Kompany has them playing well. Has them punching above their weight class. He signs some talented players, and you could see that there are talented players in that squad, but they're obviously not ready to face a team like Manchester United, right, and compete week in, week out. You feel me? So again, this is a good game. Let's get right into the player ratings, guys. I don't even want to waste time today. We have a lot of things coming up here in the next couple of next couple of weeks. A lot of games, a lot of watch-alongs. I plan to do watch-alongs for a bunch of our games, so stay tuned for that. I plan to do live shows with multiple guests coming forward in the next days. Have been having some conversations. I'm excited for it. Let's get into the player ratings. Dubravka gets a 4. He kept a clean sheet, but it was one of the weirdest games I've seen from a goalkeeper in quite a while. Like, was composed in some moments, and then some other moments he looked like he had no clue what he was doing. There was one instance where he came out to try and punch the ball. He misses it. The ball pinballs around, and then he punches it backwards. And Casemiro and Wan-Bissaka have to save an own goal from Dubravka, which was weird enough in itself, right? So Dubravka gets a 4. Nothing more to say about that. David De Gea is our number 1 for those who didn't know that is the case. At right back, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, I'm going to give him a 7. Solid performance. Defended well when he needed to. Maybe got caught out one time I can remember in the second half, but passed the ball relatively well. You can still see he's not great on the ball, right? He's not great on the ball, but he showed well for himself today. That was an extremely athletic cross, right? I don't know if he necessarily meant for it to be that clean, but he's the only one who could have gotten to that ball, right? It was overhit slightly. It was still a good idea, good ball from Bruno, but it was overhit. It was probably slightly overhit, but AWB's athleticism allowed him to get that ball. So I got to give him his just dues. It's clearly not in Ten Hag's plans. It's probably still going to move on in January or the summer, but good performance by him. Casemiro, I'm going to give a 7. Probably, I'll give him a 7.5 because I think he was great for a majority of the game outside of the mistake he made in the second half, right, where he was dilly-dallying on the ball. Other than that, against corners, he was winning headers, passing the ball well, so many good moves in terms of long balls and tackling. He was everywhere. He played so well today. I'm going to give Victor Lindelof a 7. So 7 and a 7.5. I just think Casemiro was the better center back, but Lindelof was solid too. Lindelof was very solid. And in my opinion, you know how I feel about him. He is one of our most solid players. That's kind of his thing. That's kind of how he operates. Just a cool collector, right? At left back, Malacia, I'll give him a 7. The whole back line played well. I think Malacia he's an aggressive left back. He's good on the ball. He's quick. He can make last-ditch tackles. He's a great backup to Luke Shaw, in my opinion. Great backup to Luke Shaw. He can play right back, which we saw, right? So the whole back line outside of, Dubravka, right, I think performed really well. Guys, what did you think? Get your thoughts in the comments. In midfield, McTominay, I'm going to give him a 6.5. I thought he played decent. He was fine. He won the tackle for Marcus Rashford's beautiful run and goal. So you got to give him credit for that. Yeah, no, he had a good game. A decent game in my opinion. No, could he be better on the ball? Maybe, I guess, but that's all semantics, right? This was about getting the result, being smart, not being out of position, and he really wasn't that today. So you got to give him his just. I'm gonna give him a 6.5. Eriksen, I'm gonna give a 7.5. Right, I think he was excellent. The goal. Being in that position, that's his second goal in all competitions this season. I'm glad to see that he's getting on the score sheet more and more. It was in the right position, was in the pockets today, was just played well. So I got to give him a 7.5. Bruno Fernandes, I will also give a 7.5. He played well today, man. He looked really good. Obviously, some overhit passes, some mistakes, some petulance at the end with the yellow card. Now he's suspended, so that was he has to control his emotions. But had a really good game, tidy on the ball, made good passes, had I'll call it the hockey assist. Could have scored another goal if Anthony saw him later in the game too. He was making good runs, right? So Got to give Bruno his credit. He looked good in the World Cup as well, so I think he's in a good rhythm, good form. You know, he's one of those guys. His fitness is never in question. He's always fit, always ready to go. So, you know, good game for Bruno Fernandes. Uh, on the left wing, it was Alejandro Garnacho who started. I'll give him a 6. Right, he was fine. I don't think he did anything to, you know, turn up any trees or anything like that. But he was fine. You know, he had a good game, or a decent game, an average game, whatever you want to call it. Wasn't bad by any means. I just think he wasn't. He made some mistakes. You know, he made some mistakes and showed some youth in certain times. But you know, that's gonna happen. He's young. He's gonna have ups. He's gonna have downs. But all in all, he was alive. He was a threat. He did stretch the defense, right? Could have been better with his touch in certain areas, you know, but that's going to come. He's not going to, you know, Ten Hag's not going to wear him down. He's going to come into the side. He's going to come out of the side. He's going to come into the side. He's going to come out of the side, right? So we can't stress out too much about Garnacho, right? On the right-hand side, Marcus Rashford, you know, he played everywhere. I'm going to give him an 8, and he's going to get my man of the match. I thought he was really good, man. I thought he was really good. I think that he's an interesting one. He's had a good start to the season. He's probably our leading goal contributor so far. Continues to get back to where he was probably like in 2020. Where he was really, you know, playing well with Martial, scoring goals, linking up. I think he's tracking back a ton more, and you can tell that Ten Hag's, you know, gotten in his ear a bit, which is good. That's what we need to see. We need to see more of that, you know, enthusiasm in terms of defensively, right? Tracking back, because wide players do need to track back, contrary to popular belief, you know. But yeah, no, good performance for him. Up top, Martial, I'm going to give him a 7, right? Held the ball up well, made some good had some good link up play, won fouls. Could he have been better in certain areas? Maybe, but I think he does what Ten Hag asks of him, which is, you know, keep the ball ticking, right? Keep the ball ticking. That is what he's asked to do. That's what he's asked to do on a regular basis. So, and he did that today. I thought he had a lot of good moments of hold up play. He was again, he's the glue. That's what he is. He is the glue. He may not get a goal, he may not get assist, but trust me, his impact is felt in the game. Let's look at the subs. I want to give the subs some love, at least the ones who played a relatively good amount of minutes. How did it go? So Anthony came on. I'll give him a 6. He was decent, you know, had an okay game, but didn't make too much of an impact. Elanga, I'll give him a 6. Shaw, I'll give him a 6. And then Fred and Brandon Williams didn't play long enough, so they get NAs. But guys, what were your thoughts on the game, man? Expected goals, just some stats, 1.9 to their 0.91. So they really didn't have we had more shots on target, 6 shots on targets to their 1. We dominated possession. You know, we played well today. We played well today, especially coming back from the World Cup. You can't ask for too much more. You can't ask for too much more, especially with the injury, not the injuries, but the fatigue, you know, the rust from certain players, right? And again, Burnley's been playing well. They're not a great team in terms of, would they be fighting for relegation in the Premier League? Probably, but they have a good coach clearly, and they have a way of playing that, you know, they tried to implement in certain times, but I think Manchester United's quality just overwhelmed them. But yeah, no, what were your thoughts, guys? Make sure to get your thoughts in the comments. I want y'all to hit that like button for me, hit the subscribe button for me, follow movement that is the Wavy Baller Hub. Make sure to continue, like, we have a lot of things coming out in the next few days. I'll talk to you guys real soon. All right. Deuces.